Happy Friday. Get ready for some energy, you guys. I have a really good treat, a really special one that's very near and dear to my heart to bring to you today. None other than my own personal MAPS coach, leadership, real estate, coach extraordinaire, and in my opinion, one of the foremost chat GPT and AI leaders who are leading the conversation in our company right now of how we can leverage our business. So I asked Jessica Fox to come on and join me today. Welcome, Jessica, to the call.
Hey guys, great to see you from sunny Florida, coming to sunny California. How are you guys doing?
Wow. Everyone's doing good. Unmute, share, give a little love in the chat, you guys. So, Jessica is going to join us today and talk a little bit about AI, talk about how you can leverage it in your business. And again, if you have any questions, make sure you drop them there in the chat, unmute, engage. She's here to share. So, Jess, I'm giving you the floor.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share with you guys that Monday I have a free class for realtors, for all agents, and I'm going to be doing a live demo of me using ChatGPT as a realtor. I put together some really powerful prompts for some basic tasks, administratively and lead generation focus that you would use chat for, and they're ready to go. So I'm going to actually role model live, throwing myself right off the cliff, and showing literally how during the transaction, from getting a lead to responding to a lead, some of the things that you might use chat for. And then, like I said, I put the time together to write those prompts. And I'm just going to share them with everyone that shows up. So I will get that information to your team. And yet, this is something I'm doing for my own agents at KW Clearwater. So it ended up kind of going international now with this class. And yet, anyone is welcome to attend. It's free. And it's really meant to help you guys dive into AI without being overwhelmed, because it's a lot. I mean, I think sometimes people like overshare, like, you could do this, you could do that, and it's like, holy cow, it's too much. And yet I'm going to take the overwhelm out, and I've read all these lovely books, and I've done probably, I don't know, between 20 podcasts and master classes to share with you just a few things today. So join me for that. I'm your cliff notes, in other words, of what you need to do to get started. Make sense? Cool.
Love that. Thank you. Dive right in, Jess.
Yeah, so basically, a couple things to know in general, you guys. Um, in order to be good at Chat GPT, you just have to be good at writing prompts. And I'll give you an analogy. Let's just say I'm your intern through the rest of the year. I'm free, which would be great. And you have me doing things for you in your real estate business. And one of the things you need are more sign panels. You're getting listings again. You're getting a lot of listings all of a sudden. You need more listing panels. And you come to me and you say, Jess, I need more sign panels. And we need like 15 of them, and we need them ASAP. If you give me that information, I can definitely run with it. I probably could go pull an old invoice, figure out who your old sign person was, and hit reorder, and there we go. Or you could say, Jess, we need 15 sign panels by next Friday. We need 3 open house, the ones you stick in the ground with a phone number on them. And we don't want the cheap stuff again. We need thicker material. We want XYZ, and I need them by next Friday. If you gave me that much direction, I'm going to razzle dazzle as your assistant. And that's the difference of Chat GPT prompt, where you're just kind of like, blah, 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 and you're just kind of coming up with it as it flows out of your brain, versus following like a model of the questions you should answer to get a great outcome. And all the books I've read and all the podcasts, they all have their own model. As you can imagine, there's a lot of models out there. And yet I would tell you that is the fundamental basic thing I'd get you to think like, or have your implementers behind you, your admin, your team behind you that takes care of your marketing or whatever you're going to use chat for, is have them follow some sort of model that they can get that out of their head and into a prompt. So I'm going to share with you the 3 or 4, or actually 4 models, I think it is, that I picked up in these books because one will resonate with you. And what I've discovered is I use a couple different models of prompts to get different things out of my brain. And and with that, what I'm going to encourage you also to do is once you've written some pretty darn good prompts, save them because they become like your template for the next time you do something similar. So an example is an invitation prompt, like an invitation script or an invitation to an open house. What you type or put in on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever as your call to action, or what you might say in a script, can all be written by ChatGPT. And I'm going to just tell you, it does it better than we do. It really does. In fact, I've been in my role and in real estate my whole life. So everything flies out of my face very entrepreneurially, right? I think of what to say. And I have actually made myself stop and slow down. I even have my assistant, Ella, remind me that before we make a infographic, a post, or I say anything, be it live, in a video, or whatever, that we throw it into GPT following a model that we like, and the outcome is much better than me just winging it. 100%. Especially when I'm looking for a response or a lead from social channels, social media, any of that. If it's not me live now. Now, if you and I are at a cocktail party and we're chit-chatting, I'm not ripping out my GPT. But pretty much every other time I am. And I know that sounds really silly, but it's not natural for me because, like I said, I've been doing this so long. I go very entrepreneurial. And yet I've made my assistant slow me down to say, here's your script for that. Here's what I'm proposing we post with that before I just wing it. Just a thought. It's a big change for me. It's not comfortable, but I'm better. My results are better. I'm getting leads from social media for the first time in years of doing this.
It's so much about education and articulation on our end, and the better that we get about inputting that information, the better output we're going to get. I think in one of those books, Jess, that you held up, they talked about ChatGPT being kind of like an admin or kind of like a
Yeah.
intern, right? Like an intern that comes into your company that you say, "Hey, write me a letter." And it's like they're not going to have the context or the education or the knowledge to be able to write it like something that you would write it. But if you are more specific, write me a letter. Here's examples of what I've done in the past that I've enjoyed or that have worked well. Or here's, some of the vernacular I've used in the past. Then you're really training it to implement what you need specifically to attract people on social media or through or through email.
Well, and you think about it for a second, just to put this in perspective, is when you tell your GPT something, it never forgets. Never forgets. So, I mean, that's pretty amazing assistant if you think about that. To remember everything perfectly. No big deal. I'm like, my husband
I
needs an
forget.
upgrade.
Yeah, I'm like, I forget, you forget. Yeah, husbands forget.
I tell him, Mark, you need to upgrade your GPT, mister. Forgets things I do all the time. He's like, I don't remember that at all. I'm like,
Jessica, can you go back? Someone did type in the chat. What's the time for the training on Monday, Eastern time, and then we'll convert it to California time for everyone.
Yeah, I was just putting it in the chat and I instead gave you my gift. So the gift first, I just gave you my book for Monday. It's not even complete. So these are just prompts. My gift for Monday will be a little better because I'm working on it right now. But in the chat, for those of you here, download that. And that is prompts pre-written. I've spent like 20 hours on prompts, I swear to God. So now you don't have to. And these are practical ways. So there's a few typos and a few things because you guys are getting this pre-edited, pre-class. And the class will actually have more in there. But what I did is I really finessed those prompts for the Monday book. So make sure you get the Monday book because it's going to be way better. It's like a third done. So this was my first stab at it. Those are effective, but Monday's gift will be better. Second thing in the chat is the infographic with the QR code. I'll just bring it up on the screen. I'm just seeing if I can share.
You should
Looks
be
like
able to
now
not,
I can.
yeah.
I'm on. Boom. Here you go. And here's the thing, you guys, is just like anything, when you're trying something new or implementing something new in your business, you can waste. I made myself a Barbie. I wasted the time. I did. I played around with chat in a lot of ways and wasted a lot of time. I'm not going to waste any time on any of this. Any of these live demos is just going to be the real estate transaction. So if not you, who on your team or in your world would you benefit from them attending that? Or at least register, and then you get the recording and the book with the new prompts. So just register if you can't make it. So you get it after the fact. And my goal is just to get everyone out of overwhelm or maybe a little bit of a fear mode into like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, or wow, this made a really killer listing book for me. I did this the other weekend, you guys. My husband got a new listing. It's a VRBO property on the water in Florida. It's under $400,000. I mean, this thing should fly. Guess what? Crickets.
Mm.
Market slow, slow, slow because of our last hurricane, because people a little gun shy of buying a waterfront property, frankly, you know. And we really want to sell this house because we sold this to one of our friends, and 14 days after they closed, Hurricane Helene took it down. So it's like one of those situations. I think as real estate agents, you guys have all been in these situations where you want to sell it fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crickets. So I threw the property listing link, the MLS sheet, and wrote some basic notes to my GPT. And in probably 3 prompts, it gave me a listing book, including all the fun things to do in the community. Like it would be like the VRBO book. I mean, it was so cool. And I was just blown away that it could do all of that. Whereas if I had my assistant Ella, who's super capable, we've been working together since 2021. I mean, she practically can read my mind, right? If I had her do that, it probably would have been like 8 edits back and forth
Mm.
and 8 hours of time,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And still, I had her finish it, tidied up a few things, had her add a map and a couple things, and yet that was done in less than 35-40 minutes total. So, you know, a lot of it is what, yeah, now what can it all do? You know, like what can it do that's going to make me money, you know? So in the book, I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to jump into a few of these models real quickly and then answer any questions you guys may have. And yet here are a couple of the better models, and I'm just going to share it right from my Canva, if you guys don't mind. Craft. So the craft model is clarifying context and the client, the role your GPT is hosting or holding in this, what action you want taken, what format you want it back in. Like, is this an infographic? Is this a script? Is this what is it that you want back? And then what's the tone? So that's a really great model, craft. And again, I'm going to send you guys all this. The next is, I'm going to skip over to Rice. This is the best one, I think. And of course, Gary came up with it, Gary Keller. Role, explain who the assistant is in this. Your GPT is what? Are they an expert videographer? Are they angry, expired seller? Who are they? You know, like who do you want them to be? What are the basic instructions? And there's some good information here, context and examples. So that's Rice. Next is Prepared. This comes from, and I want to give her a bunch of props. This is a book you guys should buy. Let me stop sharing and show you this book. Julie Holmes. This girl, Julie Holmes, she was featured at Mega Agent Camp with Gary. Her next book you have to buy. I should get like some sort of kickback for this because I keep saying this. Her next book, any realtor has to buy. I'm going to buy like a case of them and hand them out to my favorite agents because it's 101 specific pre-written prompts to like that level that I gave you for the whole transaction, from lead gen to lead capture to lead follow-up to buy side, list side, post close. Like, what are the prompts? So, buy her book. She's totally worthwhile. Now, she's got what we call prepared as hers. Hers is a little clunky because it's a lot. It's a lot of questions, but it's really good. It's like almost too much. Like, I don't need all of this, to be real honest with you. Sometimes I miss a letter because I feel like I already covered it in the rest of the prompt, but it's really detailed and she's got a little more detail for someone that's more detail oriented. I'm a 99% DI profile, so I am not detail oriented. This one kind of overwhelms me, but whereas my MCA likes this one better than rice. I like
Jessica,
rice.
I want to
Mhm.
ask and point out here, each one of those the acronyms that we've seen floating around have a real key part, which is the examples that many people lose, or when they're building out something that's really relevant for their business, they lose
Mhm.
the fact of like, hey, I need to give examples of my vernacular. I need to show
Yeah,
examples of maybe what others are doing that I want to, have the same tone or the same voice in. But
yeah.
every single one of them says examples. Do you have any more like feedback or tips about that?
Well, here's the truth. When I slow down long enough to write a great prompt, I save the good ones. And
Mm.
that becomes my start to my next time I have something like that to do. So, like, I have a favorite prompt for invitations, and there's a placeholder for like, because I do a lot of self promotion. So I'm like a walk-in billboard. And anyone that knows me, as I'm selling something all the time, which is great because I make a lot of money and I love selling, no big deal. But I literally am. I've got several businesses. This is my coaching business. I also am a MAPS coach. So I am literally a walk-in billboard. And so I'm marketing myself all the time. So I do a lot of videos. I use social media at a high level. I have a YouTube channel, all that. So when I'm using those things and doing those things, I save my template from the last time I dialed in it a little better. So, for example, to kind of answer your question better, when I am making an invitation to a class, I have a prompt written where there's a little section called the title of the class, time of the class, all the details that I go through every time I have in there. So as I'm creating better and better prompts, I'm sharing them like I'm sharing what I shared with you guys today. And yet my first couple prompts looked like crap and they were kind of clunky and I had to give a lot of redirection. I have it so dialed in now that I don't have to redirect much. It like pops out nearly perfect every time. So that would be the advice I give you. And yet, the more we share and evolve together, the faster we can run. So as top agents, as you get this dialed in more and more, just remember the last time you did it well is the lowest you will ever do it again when you save a couple great prompts. So you might have different types of prompts that you save, depending on how you're using it. I have that invitation script and marketing prompt dialed in really well. I have a couple of them dialed in really well, and I've saved them. And those are the only things I save in my GPT. The rest of the garbage I clear out pretty regularly when I am doing different stuff. So, like this last week, my husband and I went on a hot date in Tampa, and I live about an hour away. So we wanted to have fun there and on our way back and stop at a few places that we don't really get to. And yet I was on my phone death scrolling for like an hour and a half one night while he was watching football, and I was coming up with ideas in my brain. And I was pinning things on my Google Maps and all that. And I wasted like an hour and a half doing that. And then I went over to my computer and I put it through Chat GPT, kind of what we were doing. We're going to the planetarium. This is the time. And when I find somewhere to stop for a cocktail, maybe snack, maybe dinner, it had the best date organized with even like the route and the times and what would be open and all that. We followed that route, not my little, you know, plan that I came up with. And I'm like, good Lord, I should have done that first,
Yeah.
right? I went an hour and a half death scrolling for nothing. And so just know, like, challenge I'd give you guys just to get more open to all this is really just keep your chat GPT open all the time and ask yourself, when can I use this? And yet, you know, it can be just a new part of your life. This is like having an assistant you don't have to pay for. That's going to add 30 points to your IQ.
You know,
I have a question though. I see Rita, you asked a question. Do you recommend the upgraded version? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like 20 or $23. It's the best 20 or $23 you'll spend. And you can build your own GPT. So, for example, I uploaded all the MREA classes to my GPT. I had it learn and read MREA, One Thing, like all the books I've ever read, Exactly What to Say by Phil M. Jones. And so you can like super educate your GPT just like you would in the example I gave with the intern, by just giving it specified data as the upgraded model. And you'd want to do that for sure.
a really great practice that I think it's Julie talks about in her book right at the very beginning is to sit down and to do like a brain dump of all the things that you could have ChatGPT to or you've heard of or could think of and have all these ideas and you put them down on a piece of paper and then you go back and you actually edit it and go, okay, where's the start to this? Where do I need to leverage technology and what's going to be the highest and best use here in implementation of GPT? Because really, we're just limited by our creativity and implementation, right? We have to be curious and say, is this something that technology could do better, faster, etc.?
Yeah, exactly. And Omer, you asked, or you state if you give GPT an idea of what you want to accomplish, can you have it write its own prompt? Yeah. But if you just follow a formula, you can skip past all that and get going quicker. Or you can ask something that's really great to just get started is um, tell it to act like an expert of something you want to know and explain it to me simply as if I was a 10-year-old. So if I ever want to learn something that I don't really understand well, that can be the start. And then you could say, and if I want to accomplish this, what prompt would you help me write? And then I would fine tune it from there. So the last little model I want to share, and again, I'm going to give all the credit to Julie because I did read all these books. This one's worth getting because it opens your mind to like how you could use GPT beyond just the real estate transaction, all administratively, personally, at home, like all that. But Julie does have a great analogy of the 20-60-20, and in other books it's 10-80-10, and in other books it's different numbers. But what those numbers mean are the 20-60-20. I think is the most realistic analogy, and it's if you slow down to write a really good prompt following a basic model that you're explaining well what you want to accomplish, the role, all that, it'll do 60% of the work in magically seconds and minutes compared to days or weeks or hours for free. And you still need to put the magic on top. You still need to razzle dazzle. So when something gets pumped out, Ella, my assistant, and I still go through it and change it up just a little and put our little magic on top, our personality on top, our sound, our flair, or my video to explain the infographic or the, whatever that is. So slow down. Don't just be like, sit down and be like, blah, 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 blah. No, follow a model. Go E to P here. Go entrepreneurial to purposeful here. And you'll rock and roll with GPT. Or what happens is you just get caught on these bunny trails and you don't really get anything done and you feel like you wasted time. Now, if you get there, it's best to say, start over, ask a new question, get rid of those prompts or see where you went off track and save your prompting until then. But I literally have on the side of my GPT and in a Word document, I have my favorite prompts, my prompt templates I'm almost creating. And if you look at anyone that's trying to make money with this right now, you guys, that's what they're trying to sell. They're selling a book with their magic model and their 20-60-20 number, and they're all the same. I'm going to tell you.
They were all also written by ChatGPT, I'm sure. So
Exactly.
We've talked about
We were
that.
talking about that yesterday, right? To be totally transparent, yeah, this is totally written by GPT.
No, I love it. And I'll attest again too that book, Jess, you recommended me to read the one with Julie, and I'm fairly proficient in ChatGPT. I use it, now it's become an integral part of our businesses. But
Super.
a lot of what she shares in there too is just not even being limited to ChatGPT as a platform, understanding what AI is as a model, because ChatGPT is a large language model, LLM, right? And there's so many different forms and versions of that. Some people prefer, 'cause I heard Gary doesn't even prefer ChatGPT. Doesn't he use one of the other ones? He uses
I
uh
think he uses cloud.
yeah, he uses some of the other ones.
I don't know if it's Claude or
Claude,
Cloud.
Claude. I think it's Claude. Yeah, I think it's Claude.
So, but
But
here is where he might change his mind. And this is something I heard through the grapevine is, and this is truth. If you go to GPT, I'm going to still like screen share right now. You can change your GPT. I got to start a new chat. When you go up here, you can change your GPT to a different format. And there's all kinds of different ways of thinking with it now. One's more broad pet based. That's what you're going to naturally have pop up when you guys just go in there. Or you can dial in one of their other models that they're beta testing. One's more analytical thinking. One's meant for like medical and research and that kind of data. The other thing I'll share with you is, and this is Omer, just like you were just going to say, are you doing this in agent mode? Let me show you this. When you go in, you can go to the GPT's kind of store, and currently everything's free. At least I haven't seen anything charged yet, but you can get a specialist. So if you have someone doing your account, if you want your GPT to help you with your book work, you probably want someone from the accounting GPT division that's been pre-trained on the basics of accounting. If you want your astrology read, you got this one right here. There you go, birth chart right there. You've got different models. If you want someone that's going to create productivity or efficiencies, you have these that you can work from. So if you look at mine, because I recruit as well, I have a recruiter GPT I use from time to time. Um, Hypothetically, I'm borrowing a GPT from someone else that already uploaded all the books, uploaded all the materials, and trained it. That's all it is. That's all that is.
yeah.
So now, I hope I gave you something to think about because I don't want any of you to feel overwhelmed or left behind because there's no reason to be. Grab the wave, catch the wave on this, you guys, because this is about making more money in less time and having more fun doing it, not overwhelm, really.
Jessica,
Cool.
thank you so much. There's a lot for us to go out and research with that. Thank you for the book recommendations. Again, thank you for the invitation too for your class that's happening. We'll absolutely promote that in our offices. If you guys have any more questions about MAPS coaching, AI, ChatGPT, recruiting, team building, whatever it is, Jessica's here for you. You'll see her contact there on the chat. Her and her assistant Ella have been wonderful to us, and it helps us help you guys even more. So thank
Yeah,
you.
if anybody out there needs anything, reach out. We're here for you. We care about you.
Love that. Go out, have a really good, productive Friday, everybody. Let us know if you need anything. Go out and get an open house. Go out and get another escrow this weekend. It's time for us to push into gear because we're getting towards the end of the year, believe it or not. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.